I'm Ted Holland, a great supporter of the sonnet contest, which I helped to fund in memory of my dear wife, Maria, who passed away about 11 years ago. In her passing, she left a muse with me, and I'm so pleased that our sonnet contest, in conjunction with the Shakespeare Festival, while starting from very slim beginnings, has grown and grown and grown. We now have entries from essentially every state in the union, and in any given year, probably a dozen foreign countries or more. So it's a real treat for me to be able to support this endeavor in memory of my dear wife.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jim Armstrong, and it's my happy duty to welcome you to the 2022 Maria W. Faust Sonnet Contest. It is our 10th year as the Maria W. Faust Sonnet Contest. This endeavor began as a regional celebration of the sonnet in collaboration with the Great River Shakespeare Festival. And thanks to TED, it has gone from a regional contest to an international sonnet contest. As he mentioned, we have had this year 700 entries from 42 states, including the District of Columbia, and 10 countries outside of the United States. We had 50% more youth entries this year. 74 young people entered their sonnets to this contest, which should make English teachers happy all over the world. I want to give a few special thanks this morning to Steve Backler, to Johanna Ruprecht, and from the GRSF, I want to thank Aaron Young and Doug Schultz-Carlson, Melissa Maxwell, and Emma Bucknam. Melissa and Emma will be reading sonnets, as will Doug, I believe, for those who could not make it today. We are a hybrid event, our first hybrid event. The past couple of years we've been on Zoom, which was, believe me, easier than trying to do Zoom and live. But right now we have a live audience here in Winona at the Winona Arts Center. We want to thank them for their support. We also want to thank the River Arts Alliance for their support. We want to thank Heidi Bryant, our managing director, for all the work she's done to make this possible. Yes, definitely. As I said, my name is Jim Armstrong. I'm one of the 4 judges. The other 3 judges are Ken McCullough, Amelia DeGrazia, and Leslie Schultz. Now, I want to stop just for one moment to say something very important. All 4 judges read all 700 sonnets. This is not one of those contests where you have, grad students culling the pile and giving the 15 juiciest poems to the famous judge, who then has to, sort of do very little work. We read all of them. And so for those of you who won and those of you who didn't win, we thank you so much for donating your wonderful work to this contest, for risking yourself and for your love of sonnets. I also want to say that you'll see a lot of prizes today. This is not because we want to give everyone prizes. There were 700 entries after all, but because it's our belief as judges that in every category we nominate 4 winners, not one top winner, but 4, because we want a variety in both taste, literary taste, and also content. So we don't want to say that one sonnet was the very best sonnet of all, because of course that's a little absurd. What we want to say is these are the 4 sonnets in this category that we really, really loved. In addition, each one of the judges gets to choose his or her own favorite sonnet. So there's a variety of winners for a reason, because once you make the cull, once you get to the top, all of them are great. And we want to celebrate that by showing the great variety of sonnets being done in the world today. So with that, I think I'm turning it over to Doug Schultz-Carlson.
Thank you all so much, and thank you for being here in person, and people who are listening in from all over the world. This sonnet contest is always such a joy every summer. I am always I'm always amazed every summer when I come in to hear the great variety of experience that is reflected in the sonnet contest. And I want to echo the thanks for everyone who makes this possible. I know a great deal of work goes into this, so thank you all for making it possible. This summer, the Great River Shakespeare Festival, we are doing a community engaged project where we take stories from the community and we've created a play out of those. But in certain ways, I think maybe the sonnet contest is the original community engaged project. The thing that I love about sonnets is they give a tiny little window into someone's experience, into the inner experience of another human being. And we have human beings from all over the world who have brought these beautiful expressions of how they see the world. And I'm really excited to hear these sonnets today. So thank you all for being here. Provide a slightly better introduction for Emma Bucknam, who is our first reader. She is on Zoom. Emma is our box office, is working in our box office now this summer, but has also worked her way through our Shakespeare for Young Actors program. She has founded her own Shakespeare company here in Winona, and she will be reading a sonnet by Lucy Severson from Winona, Minnesota. This is in the youth category.
So this sonnet is called The Chaser of Words by Lucy Severson. For hours she stared at the blank white page. There was no experience to describe. Other people had more fun at her age. Getting her to leave home would take a bribe. A sheltered 18-year-old, empty mind. Love is a language that she cannot speak. There's a feeling that people long to find. She's odd, for it's something she doesn't seek. She spends her Saturday nights chasing words. Fiction is her reality. She's strange. She writes about humans, lizards, and birds. She is weird, but she doesn't want to change. Fiction is truly the language she loves. So she stands, merely watching from above.
Good morning. This is More by Julia Travers from Gordonsville, Virginia. It's one of the laureate's choices. I'm not a sofa sheeted by a host, saved for some later day. My life is more. I'm no invention turned to hoarded ghost. I'm not a bat unswung, a dress unworn. No ivory tablecloth. I won't just fold and softly start to mold in quiet drawers, forgotten, quartered neatly, growing old. No family heirloom here. My life is more. Not a diploma framed in dusty glass or album of another year and face. I will not moor myself to years now past or leave today unplayed, unspent, a waste. I'll be a flag that flies the airs in tatters, a glass which dropped from merry fingers shatters.
Our next sonnet is one of the laureate's choices. This is by Max Delson of Syracuse, New York, and entitled Rules for Trans Guys, sonnet number 2. You mustn't name yourself after a tree. No aspens, cedars, junipers will stand. We've done enough with Eliot and Rees and Jasper and, God help us, Caspian. No Hayden, Caden, Braden, Aiden, all. You might as well rename yourself Cliche. Do you sniff shit? Play fetch with rubber balls? Then no dog stuff. No Cooper, Max, or Ace. You want a name that's bland, but not too bland. Don't make a joke of it. No Butch, no Dick. This life is hard enough just being trans. Why make it harder? Blade? Why add to it? Go bland, blend in, and soon you'll understand. They'll see you as transgender or a man.
This is Growth by Gwendolyn Taylor from Rockville, Maryland. When you were 5 years old, you wished to be a princess with long hair and gleaming eyes and magic too. At first, you wished to fly, but realized that shape-shifting could free you from your pudgy face and awkward frame. So by age 9, you dreamt of changing shape more subtly, as if you could escape your insecurities if you became more slender, graceful, beautiful, and small. But 5-year-old you loved to take up space, and you would never see her pudgy face and feel as though she had to change at all. You know that you have loved yourself before, so who's to say you can't do it once more?
Hi, my name is Melissa Johnson, and I'm in Boalsburg, Pennsylvania. My poem Small Talk is in the Laureate's Choice category. I'd rather read, write, tap Morse code than talk. 90% of all that's said is small. Pleasantries, weather, all the other caulk of conversation. I'd rather not call my friends. I can type faster, build a fire and send smoke signals. A type of language that limits the extraneous. I draw ire with my abruptness, for others' knowledge that my darting eyes seek a place to flee, a corner where some work can be done, or just daydream, watch, set my rude thoughts free. I like to listen, love to hear a pun.
Ernie,
But if I must chatter, gab, shoot the breeze, I'll need a drink to manufacture ease.
My name is Abby. I'm from Minnesota, but I live in Malaysia. My poem is from the youth category. It is entitled Sunless Shade. How quickly doth the night and drapes draw forth all haunting reveries of sunless shade. The mind, a maiden captive from the north, lets loose a scarlet rope amid the raid. The curtains usher in the sound of trees, whose slender wrists are seized by arms of gale. Doth he not see this brawl, nor hear the breeze, in lonesome sleep beneath the ocean's veil? From depths of inky lock, the moon surveys, her waxen face a kiln of cosmic art. Her ashen robes descend on crystal waves, a wily nymph whose lips will not impart. When night in pall enfolds the somber shore, is light or shade what he perceives no more?
I'm Matthew King, and I'm in Marmora, Ontario, Canada. My sonnet is one of the Laureate's Choices, and it's called Maple Keys and Ducklings. The system is acceptable for plants. A million seedlings wither in the sun, or topple dampened off for every one that won't succumb to stony circumstance. Those paratroops whose plot the wind's undone, we would have weeded out. Who'd look askance at math that means they never had a chance? And still a few will root, we'd rather none. But count the turtle hatchlings on the shore and count the ducklings trailing in a row, then add up adults back next spring, no more than came to nest here months or years ago. You needn't wonder where the others went, but count again those lives so freely spent.
Hi, I'm Scott Lowry, and I am coming to you from Milwaukee. Over the past year or so, my wife and I moved here from after about 30 years in the Winona area. So it's nice to be able to be here. This sonnet was one of the regional winners. Emergence, May 2021. Yesterday's balm has turned to stony cold. New iris sway heavy and tight above their upturned blades, soft notes of a migrant dove. Time now, or not, that flowers should unfold. Bright rhubarb leaves are poised on thin oxalic stalks, still weeks away from early baking, while winter's damp detritus waits for raking. Even the grass has paused, frosted, metallic, still holding Last year's justice signs askew on their wire legs, multicolored survivors. We still parcel each breath like ocean divers, snug in our masks, within the common stew. Held breath, this joy, this fear, once breath resumes. The bud wonders how it will be when it blooms. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Allison Joseph. I was one of the winners in the laureate category, and my poem, my sonnet, is entitled Widow's Walk. I wear my good intentions on my chest, pretend I know my way around the gaps, assuming the appearance of the blessed, but faking every journey with no maps. I stumble underneath the weight I shove into the baggage hefted on my back. I'm traveling along, stripped of my love, aware of what I need and what I lack. It's not my fault his heart quit on his mind, though blame keeps creeping into my sleepless nights. Death isn't proud, and neither is it kind, and neither am I moving toward the light. No poppy, charm, or weed can make me sleep. A rested heart, his life left me to weep. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Miles David Moore. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia. My sonnet is one of the top 4 this year. The title is A Death in Autumn for Nanette and Janice. How beautiful it is to watch leaves die. The colors are much bolder than in spring, and lost in autumn's russet gramarye, we marvel at the leaves' slow spiraling. Skimming and curling with predestined grace, they dance their minuet upon the wind, then scrape across the ground and rest in place in brown unvaried heaps far out of mind. In winter we'll have Christmas, and we'll make our reds and golds from what we have at hand, wish joy to all our friends for heaven's sake, and never for a moment understand why leaves that danced for us not long ago are now a sodden mass beneath the snow. Thank you very much.
You guys, this is such a beautiful event, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. My name is John Holland. I'm in Louisville right now for a teaching conference, but I usually live in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I teach writing at the University of Michigan. I'm in the Laureate's Choice category. This is called Lunchtime on the Block. Air like yesterday's underwear, the stool steel cold to the butt, those bodies orange clad, the clouds of mold on rooftop bricks, stacked and mortared cinder blocks like canyons, ceiling still, echoing amphitheater, acoustic swells of laugh, farts, shouts, burps, fuck you, snacking, television, blaring, spades, table smacks, the humid exhalation thick, the smell of noon like grade school lunch, shuffling murmurs. This is as close to silence as it gets. The sitcom junkies, card and chess players, puzzle piecers, bookworms, beatbox tappers, rappers, metalheads, gold teeth, no teeth, tats, mouthful mumbles, digesting short timers.
I'm Siham Karami, and I'm from Orlando, Florida. Actually, I was born in Minnesota, and my poem, which won the Laureate's Choice category, is called Written in Light. Your heart surrendered. Every line stopped writing in the busy cockpit of an ICU, silenced as our family stood reciting Quran. Our hope of resurrecting you slipped quietly into a word, relinquish. All the rushing feet, the beeps, the pleas for one more CPR, strangely extinguished. when Allah brought our world onto its knees as the autumnal equinox moved in. We felt the stars and trees fall prostrate. For you, cloud-like, became a floating mountain, rising like a sound, an unseen choir that sealed your body with its counterweight and wrote the hour indelibly in light. Thank you.
First off, I just want to apologize. I guess I was turning my camera off earlier when I thought I was turning it on, but hopefully we should be good this time. I will be reading a sonnet called Sea Change by Winona Duncan, who is from Chicago, Illinois, and she won in the youth category. Full fathom 5, my child self lies in state. I skim on the surface with water bugs. Fluorescent fish make her plain grave ornate. I have no such adornments here above. My younger self is swelled beyond her skin. Her face is purple like I dyed my hair. I steward her corpse like a chamberlain, but nothing I do can make her aware. My evolution was her mounting pyre. After all, growth can crack through fresh concrete in blooming storms of dandelion fire. I flowered through her, but we could not meet. My past sleeps in the deep where dolphins play. My adolescence will join her someday.
And I have another sonnet from Chicago, Illinois. This is by Paul Buchheit, and this is in the Laureate's Choice category. The title is Uvalde. The lifeblood gushes from the arteries of children, barely blossomed innocence. A son of false bravado came to seize and tear apart our cherished covenants. The mothers, blind with desperation, breathe their babies' final cries while facing days forever scarred with images that seethe with pain. Again, the call to arm betrays a nation bullied and cajoled to share their world with children clutching deadly toys. We gather to remember, unaware of life beyond the fever that destroys our souls and bodies, limp and battle-worn from countless moments set aside to mourn.
Greetings from England. I'm Anthony Knight from Billericay, Essex, halfway between London and the North Sea. This is my poem from the Laureate's Choice category, To Homer. I followed you so long, your tapping cane and elemental meter, battlefield and marketplace elaborated. Gain or loss in both blew sails off course and filled the narrative with plundered tales, till sold today for stocking other voyages. The prospect stays the same, in quests for gold of one sort or another. Salvages of sunken craft reveal most fail in bringing the treasure home from foreign parts. The map provided pictures lurking sirens singing to all the lifted pens which brave the trap. The tap, tap, tap turns corners as you stay just out of sight, yet blindly lead the way. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Southward from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and my sonnet was a regional winner. It's part of a sequence that I'm writing on queer childhood and pop culture in the 1970s and 80s. 1984. I'm pear-shaped, pimpled, sedentary, shy, a teenage Quasimodo awed by clicks. Raising a fist at destiny, I buy a book called Working Out by Charles Hicks. I learn how to build muscle and burn fat from ham-thighed men in Speedos, sinewed, stocky, whose dumbbell repetitions on a mat become my inspiration. Grim as Rocky, I lunge and lift and curl and crunch my abs, work up a sweat on bike treks, eat low-cal, and go to bed ignoring hunger's stabs, till one day in the mirror, my morale shifts with a glimpse of masculinity that any stranger might mistake for me. Thank you.
My name is Joseph Paulson. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. My sonnet was a laureate's choice. It's titled Elegy for a County Fair Goldfish. The heat wave brings a change in behavior. Our shining spearhead of a fish begins to stay at the bottom with droopy fins and takes on a grotesque curvature. Though by all accounts, fish have no sense, it seems she knows that something is amiss in the way her grasping makes her list and drift a bit. She never unbends. Have you known a fish to live for years that came home as a prize won at the fair? Whoever thought a fish worth human tears? Golden light of the kitchen, swimming where we lived our daily lives. What appears at first a common thing may become rare. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Harty. I am coming to you from the suburbs of Kansas City. And this poem landed in the top 4 category this year. It was written during the height of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Putin's Mariupol. A blue and yellow flag amid the rubble where once a city stood, where tanks and bombs laid waste the avenues, where pick and shovel seek out survivors, carve out makeshift tombs. Mission accomplished, so the invader claims. He spreads a map with redrawn borders, boasts of territory won, all in the name of erstwhile sovereignty unjustly lost. Let sycophants and lackeys sing his praise. Let power worshippers surround his throne. Let flattery and posing fill his days. More blue and yellow flags are being sown. They fill his nightmares, feed his deepest dread. They are the scimitar above his head.
Hello, my name is Janet Ruth, and I'm speaking to you from Corrales, New Mexico. My poem was selected in the Laureate's Choice category. And I wrote this poem for winter solstice, and I was inspired by a W.S. Merwin poem. The title of this poem is a line from his poem entitled To the New Year. But mine is called Invisible Before Us, Untouched and Still Possible. The hopes that Merwin spoke for the new year, impossible to see here in the dark of longest night. The deep blue sky is clear. Bright stars are whirling in a gyre, a stark reminder that the earth, atilt, is turning, leans back toward the sun, that endless round of seasons. Last year's hopes are slowly burning to ash upon the hearth without a sound. Seeking new dreams and fuel for next year's fire, we step outside and shiver in the cold. Then gradually our ears tune to a choir of silent music. The full moon has rolled up heaven, illuminates the untouched snow, makes visible what's possible below. Thank you.
Hi there, my name's Charles Leggett, coming at you from Seattle, Washington. This poem was a laureate's choice. It was commissioned of me by a friend of mine, not for money, but for drinks. It's called Neighbor's Lament, and it's for a voice actor with an in-home recording studio living in a residential neighborhood. To all you yard men, with your Greenworks prose, your Black and Deckers, or your erstwhile weed eaters, echoes, egos, or Sun Joes, brushless DeWalt's, or Greenworks single speeds, your Craftsmans or Hitachis, or Works turbines with power cords or batteries or gas, or your Malikas and their 4-stroke engines, which conjure sex toys cast in plexiglass. Allow me, please, to offer a solution to all of this infernal noise pollution. Your legs and arms and hearts would grow much stronger, and therefore might your lives be much the longer, if this leaf blower habit you could break and buy yourselves a motherfucking rake. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Maitreyi and I'm from California, and my poem won in the top 4 category. It's called Faraway Mind. She sips Mosambi juice and stares, lime green glimmering in her glass like the sea she was born to. Grandma, feel the air so clean and rich with cardamom, the children free and running with their kites. Recall the yards of fabric blooming, violet and gold, the toothless vendors selling milk in scarred coconut shells. Her hands clutch slightly, fold into papery palms, attempting to conjure dim fragrances of the past. What a wizened little girl, mine like the moon waning. I touch her face and stand up, but as always I'll be back to tell her tale she once told me, but now cannot recall. Thank you.
My name is Stephen R. Vogel. I'm from Rochester, where my main muse is my wife. But I really have 2 muses. One is Kansas, real early life, and the other is northern Minnesota, but it could be any northern state. How many of you have spent a weekend or a week on a lake cabin in the north? Yeah. Well, when I'm feeling a bit dour, my muse is probably in Kansas. But when I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic about life, it's up north. And almost any time of day, you could pluck me and take me right there. And that's what I tried to do here. Turtle Lake Nocturne. Norway's like a chorus, tender a song into the fragile dusk. Colors flatten down to silhouettes, and gray paths wind within the black. An aerosol of walleye and old leather scent the latticed air as rough-hewn light tatters on the floor. Uncloaked rafters monitor the murmurs, evaporated mumblings of a drowse. A candle in the sill is brushing night as though Raphael himself were here. The old fire, tired of its heat, has formed a colloquy of embers on the hearth. No tomorrow could disrupt this calm, for a tincture of this night will linger long.
This next one is from the Laureate's Choice category. This is by David Whipman from Blackpool, United Kingdom. Childhood 1919. Daddy came home from the war to end all war and seemed at first one of the lucky ones. He looked exactly as he had before, his flesh untouched by bullets, gas, or bombs, but not his memories. Gradually, we found the things he'd seen and done were always there, like sappers mining underneath the ground till he collapsed to bleakness and despair. He smiled as he watched us kids at play, but then a change would come upon his face. And then we knew he was far away, in Ypres, Verdun, or some such nightmare place. Children are wise. We understood it well. Daddy came home, but he remembered hell.
This is Fierce Feathers by Lynn Page from Ventura, California. It's a laureate's choice. A sunlit hummingbird, a sprite in flight, a plunging turn in dives extraordinaire, a clever magpie striking black and white, are living art in strokes of light and air. We think of beings dainty, fragile, when we hear the calls of thrashers in the brush, the rushing burble of a winter wren, the melodies of lark or loon or thrush. Yet finch's toothpick legs are reptile scaled. Those feathers trace to prehistoric days. Look closely and the bloodline is unveiled. You see the eons in a parrot's gaze. Beneath each wishbone beats a secret core where roars the heart of mighty dinosaur.
Hi there, Joel Van Valen. My sonnet was a regional winner this year. I've actually entered the contest a few times since 2012, and I've had a few honorable mentions, but this is the first time I got to come in person and read. It's very exciting. Thanks for everyone to put on the contest. This is a little Old Testament humor, so don't take it seriously. It's called Eve in a Bar. I don't want to hear about that tiresome garden. She's only famous for being the first alive, and most of us stop reading around page 10. I'd rather stumble across Eve in a dive. Sit a few stools down, order a Guinness, relax a bit. The little TVs glowing in the corners would have sports on, golf or tennis. And I'd start a conversation. How's it going? So I made a small mistake, she'd slur and reply. Believed the lies, ate forbidden fruit. Exiled for life? I mean, who is this guy tempting me like that? And Adam's a brute. And I'd look at the two of us in the mirror and blow a kiss her way and say, honey, I know.
This is a poem by Aaron Fisher from Fort Lee, New Jersey. And this is in the Laureate's Choice category, Clam Diggers. They were the last. They kept their secrets, where to dig the sweetest cherry stones or find the densest clusters of blue mussels, the tide dead low, a mesh bag with a couple of beers hanging from the gunnel, Pete's Clam Bar, Charlotte's buying bushels of steamers, little necks, the gulls piping and jeering above the dock, the men shucking shells. Every day a knockoff of the one before. World without end, the priest intoned at mass. It ended soon enough. What could they do but take the town's offer on their single wide trailers along the creek? Among the trash that had to be hauled off, the shallow skiffs their grandfathers planed and caulked.
I think we're good. I'm short. Hi, folks. My name is Marcia Ratliff. I'm from Winona, Minnesota. And this is one of the top 4. It's a poem about love. It's called First Married Christmas. We're too cheapskate to buy a Christmas tree. So I cut comic boughs from green cardstock. Stuck on the window frame haphazardly with masking tape. They cheer us while we talk about the day. Slouched on your old futon, we're lit by dollar aisle Christmas lights draped round the paper tree. Al Green is on, and bare apartment walls seem warm tonight. We'll dart to bed, where frigid, threadbare sheets won't stop us as we kiss each other's necks. The angels know where earth and heaven meet is in a pair of lovers having sex. So come ye faithful, add your hymn to ours. Canonize the celebrants of these hours. Thank you.
This is Star Symphony by Niccolò Campus from Florence, Italy. It is a laureate's choice. Stars spread across the universe, tonight make all our sky resound with vibrant fire. Tonight, the greatest symphony of light play for this tiny planet to admire. May Betelgeuse and Bellatrix begin with a bright drum roll, and Arcturus blare and Altair and Aldebaran come in like violins and cellos on the upflare. And then may Rigel and Antares rise with a crescendo, and Canopus keys and Sirius double basses harmonize with a whole orchestra of galaxies. Let dwarves and giants play until the morn, because tonight my baby boy was born.
It's incredibly fitting that we ended with an Italian writing an Italian sonnet. Of course, Italy being the birthplace of the sonnet. But here we are in Winona, Minnesota, where it keeps on going. And I want us to all give a hand to all the poets who have read today. Let's give them a hand. And let's give a special hand to Doug, Emma, and Melissa, who read for those who could not. Thank you. So from the wild universe of the last poem to a prison block, poems about the northern woods of Minnesota, poems about people who have experienced great tragedy, people who have experienced joy. I think you will agree that the sonnet form is alive and well, and as current as today's headlines and as resonant as this hour's sorrows and joys. For such a demanding form, it's remarkably elastic, even capacious. This contest was started to spread the enjoyment of poetry and to encourage the writing of it. Through the years, we've been constantly surprised and amazed at the number of poets, most of them unknown, and I should say all of them unknown to us, because we read the sonnets blind, of course. We have no idea whose poems we're reading. And it's always so interesting to see them. This is one of the great virtues of having the internet, is we can see them over the past 3 years, because so often in the past, when we became an international contest, people weren't going to fly in from Florence to come to Winona to read one sonnet. But now they come via the internet, and we have this sort of wonderful experience of seeing their faces and realizing, wow, that person is really young to write such a profound poem, or wow, that person, is not at all who I expected. And it just shows you the inner life of the sonnet, the inner life of the creative writer is really deep and resonant, I guess is the word I want to continue using. So thank all of you. Thank you for being here. And thank you all of those people who are watching us from the great universe of the internet. And of course, thank Ted for being so generous and making the sonnet contest such a international event. It's such a joyous event. So I wish all of you a very good day, and I hope that you are all writing your sonnets right now to submit to our next sonnet next year. So thank you very much for being here.